Welcome back to the VC3 News Update. I am Shanette Hackshaw with the top local news stories. The Caribbean Research Center hosted a lecture last evening on the theme, Honoring Our Journey, Shaping Our Future, the role of the Caribbean diaspora in building a more resilient Caribbean as part of its Heritage Month celebrations. National Caribbean American Heritage Month is an annual observance in the United States during the month of June to recognize and celebrate the contributions of Caribbean Americans to the country's history, culture, and society. The lecture was delivered virtually by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Dr. Gonsalves, in his very candid and insightful presentation, acknowledged that St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as other Caribbean nations, have a very large diaspora in the United States of America, in particular Brooklyn, New York, and also receive a lot of remittances and tourists from the U.S., as well as getting significant investment from the U.S. He also noted that we are even influenced by the popular culture of that country, and in that a lot of guns and bullets come from that country because, as according to him, looking from the outside, there seems to be such a love for guns that it triumphs the love of human beings.
Not because I can't move St. Vincent from where it is, and because there are all these benefits and burdens from our location, that doesn't mean that I have to roll over and play dead because of the power of the United States of America. No. So the option is not to roll over and play dead. It's to come home to ourselves and to ask our grandparents and our parents and our sons and our daughters, and to make a whole daughter and a whole son out of the compromises which the fever of history has made us.
Dr. Gonsalves said, as we are not going to roll over and play dead, we would make accommodations, and in addition, we resist creatively where it is necessary and desirable for us, admitting that there are many things on which we resist creatively.
In our Caribbean, the way I've defined it, there's Cuba, there's Venezuela, and there's Nicaragua. The United States of America has, from 1961, carried out a relentless war against the Cuban people with an embargo which is clearly illegal in international law, and where the bulk of the people in the world, as represented in the nations of the United Nations. And Americans don't know this. There are only 2 countries, sometimes 3 every year at the United Nations, that vote with the United States of America in respect of this illegal embargo. Israel is one, sometimes Micronesia. Even their friends in Europe vote for the lifting of this embargo, which is a criminal thing, and people are suffering.
The Prime Minister frankly pointed out that the same things are happening in Venezuela,
where the Trump sanctions against Venezuela, they have helped to impoverish that country, make it life very difficult. And President Biden, who has made very important outreaches to the Caribbean, the United States still keeps under the Biden administration, keeps these sanctions going and strong. And the same thing in respect of Nicaragua.
Dr. Gonsalves said to him, it is evident that what is dominant with the United States of America in relation to these 3 countries is presidential, gubernatorial, senatorial, and congressional politics of South Florida. He then added that we in the Caribbean can't make the domestic politics in relation to South Florida imprison our international relations. The preliminaries for the National Calypso Monarch competition ended last evening, with Calypsonians from the Onto Calypso tent facing the judges. The preliminaries got started on June 10 with the Dynamite Calypso based in New York. It was then the turn of the Graduates Calypso tent, then the Upstage Calypso tent. From all indicators, there was a good turnout at the shows, and patrons were entertained by this year's performances. The semi-finals of the National Calypso competition will take place on June 30 at the Victoria Park. The Carnival Development Corporation today released the list of 22 Calypsonians who are looking to book a place in the finals to dethrone reigning monarch Maxwell Tajo Francis. The 22 Calypsonians that are into the semi-finals include, from the Graduates Calypso tent, Kingsley Hero Roberts, Cleopatra Hendrickson, Glenroy Sule Caesar, Denise Lady D. Stevens, and Felicia Nubian Empress Alexander. From the Onto Calypso tent, Elvis Abijah Abbey, Marvo Morgan, Robert Patches King, Derek Mansik Alexander, Grantley Iper Constance, Bernard Reality White, and Kirk Ninja Knights. From the Upstage Calypso tent, Lynette Fire Empress Ned, Gosnell GC Cupid, Chanel Mackenzie, Omani Cupid, Sheena Collis, Sissy Littlebit King. From the Dynamite Calypso tent, Carlos Rejector Providence, Dilahani Isles, Dennis Bowman, and Jose Juan. And with the reserves, Ronald Ronby Brown and Errol Deman Age Rose. Earlier this week, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves stated on NBC's face-to-face program that construction of the Sandals Resort located in Bokoments Bay would be completed by year-end. The API toured the project site with the Minister of National Mobilization, Orandi Brewster, who is also the parliamentary representative for Central Leeward, of which Bokoments Bay is a part of. Mr. Brewster said based on his observation, the project is running smoothly and is on time.
It is a busy site. As you can look around, you would see there are cranes, there's a hustle and the bustle, there are workers here, both local and those from other countries. And it's a good mixture. It's a good mixture of work. To my right here, we have work ongoing from the government side, where we have the access route, the new access route.
The MP, who is clearly excited about having such a major development in his constituency, said it will be one of the hallmarks in terms of resorts and tourism facilities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
I was here a few months ago, and where we are standing here was just dirt. And now we have a major piece of the resort here called the back of the house.
Exactly.
And this is where everything is going to happen. This is what controls the units, controls the room, the pool, the ACs, most of the work. So this is like the heart of the hotel.
Exactly.
Once this piece of infrastructure is going in, we know for sure that we are on time, because this is needed in order for the resort to run. So if we don't have this, the resort can't run. So from the outside, and you can see here on site the amount of work and the amount of progress that's happening right here at Sandals in Bokoments Bay.
Project manager Salvador Valeria is also reporting smooth sailing with the project, adding that the workers have been extremely helpful. He, however, noted just like other islands, the ports and containers have always been a headache.
The progress of the site is technically still under the schedule. You know, sometimes we got a delay in some areas, but some other areas get a higher progress than we was expecting to. But in the bottom line, I think that by the end of the year, we're going to do it without any doubt. Things are going awesome, the quality is going good. Local suppliers are giving 110% extra of what they can do. All the providers, all the subcontractors, everybody is very happy with what's going on here, and everybody wants to happen, because it's going to be like open the gate to the world, to the island, you know, because we need that this kind of project happen in all the islands.
In 2020, Sandals Resort International announced that it would be expanding its beaches resorts portfolio to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, its 8th island in the Caribbean. The development follows the acquisition of the Bokoments Bay Spa and Resort. In more local news stories, The Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture, the IICA, earlier this week held its annual accountability seminar at French's House Conference Room. The seminar was facilitated by the IICA's technical specialist, Michael Dalton. A release from the Ministry of Agriculture says the AAs allowed the IICA to present stakeholders with an update on its activities in support of agriculture and rural development countries. The release further adds that the IICA's representative in the Eastern Caribbean states, Greg Rawlins, said the organization has embraced accountability as one of its core values in seeking to strengthen the positioning of the Institute. As a result, the accountability process is a critical component of the institution's integrated management system. Acknowledging the adverse effects of several world and local events that have significantly impacted SVG's agri-food systems, Mr. Rawlins stressed the need to take measures and procedures to ensure food security during times of significant global dislocation. In light of this, he thinks that CARICOM head's decision to target a reduction in the region's import bill by 25% by 2025 is an important positive step in seeking to achieve greater food self-reliance, which he says the IICA fully supports. Those are our local news stories. Continue watching the VC3 News Update on Channel 114, where we'll bring you regional and international news along with the VC3 News Update, which you listen to.